In this tutorial, we will model this part. This will give you a solid understanding of how to model in Shapr3D. Please follow the instructions to replicate this model in your space. You can pause this video at any time, or repeat the last 10 seconds. You can also enlarge it or drag it around if it's in the way. A shape like this seems relatively complex at first, but it is usually made from simpler elements. First, we will model this shape. Then, this other one above it. Adding the bracket arm. Once the main shape is done, we'll add these details around it. In 3D modeling, you typically sketch 2D views of the object first. Then, you turn these sketches into a 3D body. So let's create this sketch first. In the top right, open Units. Make sure millimeter is selected. Next, tap the magnet icon at the top right. Make sure all snapping guides are turned on. From the top right menu, select Top View. Now you're in 2D view, it's easier to sketch this way. The sketching grid is now also placed here. As you're zooming with 2 fingers, the grid adjusts to the zoom level. Zoom out until one grid equals to 5 millimeters. This will make it easier to create this sketch. In Units, lock the grid to 5 millimeters, so it won't change as you zoom. Using 2 fingers, move the view slightly to the left, and zoom in a little. First, draw a rectangle from the origin to help place the holes on the base. Select the Rectangle tool. Open its options and select Center Mode. Draw a 30 millimeters wide rectangle. Lock its center by tapping the lock badge next to the point. Set the width to 30 millimeters and the height to 40 millimeters. Select the whole sketch by double tapping it with the pencil. By tapping on Make Construction, change the rectangle to a construction sketch. Let's draw the circles for the holes. Draw 4 circles in the corners. On the right, you can see a list of constraint buttons. Constraints are behavioral rules you can set up between sketches. For example, you can make 2 lines parallel or 2 circles concentric. Select all 4 circles. As you select items, the valid constraints get enabled on the right. Tap the Equal constraint to make the circles equal. Now select the top right circle and set its diameter to 6 millimeters. Draw another rectangle from the center. This will make the outer edge of the base. Select the 2 sketches at the bottom. Tap the Parallel constraint on the right. Let's set the distance between the holes and the base edges. Select the bottom left circle's center and the bottom edge. Set the distance to 7 millimeters. Do the same with same center and the left edge. To get out to 3D view, double-tap the top right cube. As you can see, a closed sketch has a fill color. This indicates that you can turn it into a 3D body. Select the sketch profile and pull it to create a body by 5 mm. Now, let's blend the corners. Move the camera around and select all 4 edges. You can fillet or chamfer by dragging the arrow. Drag it outwards to fillet them by 7 mm. Double-tap the top right cube to reset view. Now let's create the column part of the body. To sketch on the top face, double-tap it with your finger. In the Sketch menu, select the Rectangle tool. Draw a rectangle from the center. Set the width to 10 mm. Make the upper and bottom sketches tangent to the edges of the body by selecting the edge and the sketch and tapping Tangent Constraint. Move out of 2D view by panning with one finger. Zoom out a little. Now select the sketch profile and pull it. Set the height to 50 mm. By opening the History sidebar, you can rename any steps. Long tap on the cell and select Rename. Rename the step to Column Extrusion. Close the sidebar. Select this edge. Pull it outwards to blend it by 30 mm. To reset the view, double-tap the top right cube. Next, we will create this hole in the column. Select this edge. By selecting Offset Edge, create the sketch profile. Move the arrow inwards by 10 mm. Double-tap the face with your finger to get into 2D view. Selecting the original and the offset sketch pairs, set the distance between the lines to 10 mm. Set the arcs concentric. Move out of 2D view by panning with your finger. Select the inner sketch profile. Push it through the body to cut the hole. Turn the camera to see the other side. Drag the arrow onto the face to attach its distance to the face. Tap this badge. Here you can modify the body creation method. Select Subtract. Double-tap the top right cube to reset view. Now, we will create the bracket arm. Double-tap the top face to move into 2D view. Zoom out a little. Draw a 50 mm line from the center. Set the dimension to 50 mm. Make it a construction sketch. Draw a circle from the end of the line. Set its diameter to 20 mm. Draw another, bigger circle. Set its diameter to 30 mm. Select the Rectangle tool, change it to diagonal mode. Draw a rectangle from the edge. Set the width to 50 mm. Now we created the sketch profile to extrude. To get out to 3D view, double-tap the top right cube. Select the sketch profile by tapping them one by one with the pencil. Drag it down by 10 millimeters. If you single tap on a face, that selects that face only. If you double tap on a face, that selects the full body. As you can see, the bracket is still separate from the base. You can select the base too separately if you double tap it. Let's unite these two bodies. Select both parts, choose Union in the side menu, then tap Done. If you now double tap it, the whole united body will get selected. Now we will create the details for the bracket arm. Double tap the front face to move into 2D view. Select Rectangle and choose Center Mode again. Draw a rectangle from the center. Set width to 2 millimeters. Make top and bottom sketch tangent to the edges. Exit sketching by tapping Exit Sketching on the left. Move out of 2D view by panning with your finger. Select the top and the bottom edges. Fillet it by 5 millimeters. Select the front sketch profile. Push it through the body. Double tap the right face with your finger. Draw a circle with 4 millimeters diameter. Select the edge and the circle. Tap on Concentric. Move out of 2D view. Select the sketch profile and push it through the bodies. Select the edge around the hole on both sides. By pulling inwards, chamfer by 0.5 millimeters. To reset the view, double tap the top right cube. To finish our model, let's blend some edges. Hide all the sketches by opening items. Hide them one by one and close the panel. First, select the 4 vertical edges around the bracket. Drag the arrow to fillet them by 3 millimeters. Select this edge and fillet it by 5 millimeters. These 2 edges above should also get 5 millimeters fillet. To reset the view, double tap the top right cube. To blend the edges around the base, select these 2 edges. Fillet them all by 1 millimeter. Let's chamfer the holes. Select the top edges of the holes. Chamfer them by 1 millimeter. You don't need to select all edges like this if they make up a continuous chain. Instead, just select these 2 edges and fillet them by 1 millimeter. Let's blend the remaining edges around the body. Now select these 2 top edges and fillet them by 1 millimeter too. As you can see, all edges around the body got blended as well. That's it. You've finished this model. Now let's take a look at the History sidebar. You can open the sidebar by tapping History. Insert a breakpoint by long tapping the second step and selecting Insert Breakpoint. Let's change the base size by tapping on the first step in the sidebar. Change the width of the inner rectangle from 30 to 40 millimeters. remove the breakpoint. You can suppress any steps by long tapping the step and tapping Suppress. You can filter for relevant steps by selecting elements. Select this face. Find the step where you extruded the column and tap it. You can change the height by changing the value on the canvas. Let's change it to 60 millimeters. Or you can also change it in the parameter card by tapping on the arrow next to the step. Here, you can find other parameters for the given steps. That's it. Well done.